How can I get myself up for those opportunities?
You just gotta do it. Like if you got an idea in your mind right now, you just gotta do it.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Meeting the World is so lucky to have Antonio Santos on the podcast today. He will fill us in on the magic world of the Philippines and the editing universe that lies within his podcast. Let's get into it.
Normal person turned magician, and then 2 years later into a video editor. Today we have Antonio Santos. So Antonio, how are you?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
And I'm doing very fine. Thank you for accepting my invite for this podcast. And I really wanted you to come on this podcast because I've seen you go around school, and I've seen you go up to people and show your card tricks. So I've seen how you go about trying to improve yourself the course of a almost daily basis. But then you weren't always like this, were you? You were like everyone else. We sort of started out quiet, but then how did you transition from quiet kid who took an interest in something to a person who decided to devote his time into doing something amazing? Like, let's start with magic.
Well, before I was a lonely kid, not much of a talker to strangers and stuff like that. And that time I was alone and I had no much friends and stuff like that. So I just want to find a way on how can I make friends. So why not doing magic and stuff like that? So I just do magic to other random people and stuff. And then sometimes I improve every time when I meet people. Like instead of asking people some magic, I can just ask them something like random questions and stuff like that because I'm confident enough to talk to them.
Yeah, I've noticed that how because we were classmates in the 6th grade, and how you were then and how you are now, really outstanding.
Thank you.
So magic, that's the land of pyro and card tricks and other disappearing tricks. Why would you even take interest in magic in the first place?
It all started with my dad. I was 5 years old. I was crying a lot and then whining and stuff. And then out of nowhere, my dad showed me this simple coin trick where he bites into it and then it reappeared, like it fixed by itself. And I said, "Oh my gosh, I want to do that." So here's the funny part of the story. After seeing my dad doing that coin trick, I gathered all my 1 peso coins and started biting into it.
Yeah.
Like I put 2 coins bunch in my mouth until I find the right one. So, my parents got me a magic trick around 5 years old, like Christmas. Yeah, Christmas. While I got my magic, I was very happy that I had it. But in the age of 7, I quit magic because it's kind of boring for me. Because when I was a kid, I don't know how to read. I cannot understand how to do it. And that time, I don't have YouTube and stuff like that. So I came back at the age of 12. I just watched this guy from AGT, America's Got Talent. He was doing some magic. And I was like, hey, I want to try doing that. So after a few YouTube videos, I started doing magic, and that's the time I started doing magic and stuff, like those big props and stuff, like a rabbit or a top hat, or maybe a handkerchief with a butterfly or a bird in it. So I continue doing that, and then it makes me wonder. I think I should stop doing this type of what you call a theme, because in that theme it's called stage magician. Like stage magician have big props, like they saw people in half. They pull out a rabbit out of his hat, or maybe show something that's very big. But I wanted to do something that's very simple and something that could be easily bring around wherever I go, like a restaurant, a mall, or anywhere. So I searched this guy. I have no idea. This is the time I got a huge fan lover of David Blaine.
Yeah.
Like, okay, David Blaine does doing magic tricks and stuff with only a deck of cards and only his household items. So I tried doing those magic tricks and stuff. Yeah, I start getting into it. And then after a few weeks later, I tried to learn how to shuffle cards because a good magician know how to shuffle cards. So when I found this on YouTube,
Yes.
it's called cardistry. So I give this a try, and I said, okay, whoa, that's so cool. That's how I am good at making that. So sometimes you saw me on how am I good doing shuffling cards and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and doing those springs and stuff and shuffling cards.
It's
And
really
that's
cool.
how I got inspired doing cardistry. And yeah, that's the story on how I became to point A to point B, to a lousy magician to a good magician.
Okay, so I've seen how you've grown. Was it just YouTube videos, or did you have any sort of formal training? Did you enroll in any program?
It's a session. We don't call it a program. It's called
Okay.
a session.
Yeah.
Well, I just watched one YouTube video, because if you learn one move on a magic trick, you can do anything you want. Like, if you know how to do this, you can do anything you want. Just be creative and stuff. Like, badminton. Like, when you try to hit the racket, you can do many moves, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can dive, you can be creative and stuff like that. Like, that's it. So in my session, it's called a cardipelago. It's a full of magicians and cardists like me, which I met them in where is that place? Green Hills.
This is Philippine based.
Yeah, Philippine based.
Okay.
And also, not only Philippine based, also I have a group of friends outside from the country: Russia, US, China, Hong Kong, Thailand, who does magic and cardistry. So we have a group chat right now. It's called Cardistry. So I sometimes learn from YouTube, like a bit of YouTube, but more of myself and other people. And yeah.
Okay, so I like that way of learning, because the thing now is you don't really have to go to uni to have a qualification. Just start something up by yourself. Those businesses that you create in short time spans, those are really good qualifications for you in any job interview. And then
Yeah.
to hone your skills in what many people still consider informal, it's refined talent even if you don't have formal training. Okay, do you have any mentors aside from friends? Do you have any mentors, anyone that you consider an elder?
Yeah, I got a mentor. His name is Chris Lina.
Okay.
He's not only a magician, he's also a party performer, a photographer, and also a voice actor.
Oh, okay, so he was a magician. Did he ever
Yeah.
open up any gigs for you? Did he tell you, okay, why don't you perform at this party? This is a interesting opportunity.
I really want to, but then I was busy. In that time, I was busy doing academics, so I have no time doing that. But I really appreciate how he helped me to do gigs and stuff, because there's like some problems when I go out like when a store manager went up to me. There's like this one story, because when I was in Quezon City, my mom told the manager of that bazaar to do some magic tricks in table to table. So I texted my mentor Chris Lina to help me on how to do this, on how to do that, and to be confident enough to when you approach to someone.
That's really good. You can see how mentors can really take you to the next level, because otherwise you'd just be working hard and then you wouldn't even progress. How did you find him through Cardipelago?
No, I didn't find him through there.
Oh, where did you find him? In shows?
It's kind of a weird story, but I just want to say it. So I met him in a cemetery.
Cemetery?
Yeah,
Okay.
like his story. I was in my condo, right? I was in my condo, and then
Yeah.
I was like doing my homework or something. I forgot. So my mom called me immediately. Like she started screaming and calling me. It's like she's like this. Anton, come here. There's a bunch of magicians and um cardistry in this funeral. I said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead. So I rushed up, changed my clothes and stuff, and I started running to across the church. And then it's kind of weird. Like it's kind of weird that you met him in a funeral place. So
Uh-huh.
I talked to him. I talked to him and stuff, and I said I was like amazed because that's my first time seeing another fellow who has the same talents as mine.
Okay.
So I was like, oh my gosh, like I was like freaking out and stuff like that because I'm so happy to have a friend who does the same thing as I do. So yeah, that's the story how I met him. It's kind of it's
Okay.
good
So
stuff.
from my point of view, I find it impressive that you could actually hit off a conversation with someone. Because me, I'm an introvert. I don't really talk to a lot of people, and I'm still trying to figure out how I can introduce myself to new people. So, do you have any tips for anyone who wants to introduce someone new? Or let's say I'm someone who's just trying to look for a friend, and then I go to a mall. What would I say to some random stranger in the mall?
Um,
Because,
sometimes
yeah,
if I wanted, oh sorry. Sometimes when I want to sometimes when I talk to strangers, I sometimes give them compliments and stuff. Yeah, and then sometimes you just have to be confident. Like if you want to talk to that stranger on where to go, or if you want to talk to that stranger because on how they look and something like that, I just the first thing you always say hi, and then just ask the question. That's it. And then you might start with a conversation and stuff like that. Because
Okay.
sometimes I start with a conversation on saying a compliment. For example, oh my gosh, I like your shoes. May I know where do you get that? That's the starting of the conversation. And yeah,
Yes.
it's like it's my best tip is like complimenting people and just be confident. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've seen that on YouTube videos for people, for YouTubers who are trying to give advice on meeting new people. It's always try to compliment the person you're talking to, and don't give dead end questions. Don't give
Yeah.
dead end answers.
Yeah.
You have to like add something that person can pick up from, so that so that you guys can have a two-way conversation. Okay, you have magic, and over the summer I think you've grown tired from magic because you've transitioned into video editing.
An
How's
editor.
how's that like? What's that like?
Okay, I didn't say I am tired from magic. It's
Uh-huh.
just I do it as a set aside of hobby and stuff like that. It's just the reason why I started doing editing and Photoshop stuff because of magic. Because I see those companies on coin companies on how they show magic. Like they show magic in the coolest edits way. Like there's like a clone, there's like a transition from one deck to another deck. And then it feels like, and I told myself, hey, I want to do that. So I found a camera that my dad's using. So he told me that I can have it already. So I begged my parents for it and tripod and stuff. And then I started doing some tricks. Like I always use my camera for showing my moves and some tricks.
Mhm.
So past like on and on, I just want to research on camera settings and stuff because I need to know how to have good quality images and good quality videos. And also I start begging my parents to buy me Adobe. You know Adobe, right?
Yeah, it's just the software.
Yeah, just for good edits and stuff. And then they'd be like, okay. I got it let's see, like a few months ago, and I started practicing editing every single day and every single night. Not only doing, and then after that, I started watching some movies. And sometimes movies inspires me to do some edits. Like Quentin Tarantino. There's like this movie, Pulp Fiction, right?
Yeah.
There's like a transition that there's like a camera angle, and it feels like I want to do that in the future and stuff. So sometimes I just practice those edits, and then also my inspiration on making those type of edits is Zach King and movie directors like Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese, John Hughes, and yeah, those people who, because those four people inspires me to do some edits and videography. And
Yeah, just listening to you talk about it, it shows you sound like you have a lot of passion over anything that you invest your time into. Like I
yeah,
wouldn't
like
be able to, I wouldn't have thought of investing my time into, okay, who should I look up to? Do I look up to someone like the directors you've mentioned, or do I just keep trying to figure out what I'm trying to do? And your way of tackling something on learning something new, it's actually really nice in that if you try to learn something new on YouTube, usually get stuck into a wormhole of videos. But since you're applying it and trying to apply whatever you are trying to do from other directors, it shows that you have a good structure of learning. Do you have any recommendations for editing software? You've mentioned
okay,
Adobe.
So for best beginners, if you guys are using a phone, like for mobile, I would prefer Video Leap. It's a free software mobile app. Like they also do videos and photos. Like if you go to Video Leap in the Apple Store or in the store,
Yeah.
they will show, it's all free. Like it's all free. Like they can do videos and then photos. Also, if you want to be into laptop, I would prefer DaVinci. It's like it's a good editing app for color grading. Like if you want to change your color to, if you
Yeah.
want to change your videos to dynamic or cinematic, or just change something random and stuff. And and yeah, those are the tips. Those are the most suggested editing software I would recommend.
Okay. Let me just cut you off right there. Antonio Santos, with his video editing and everything that he's been doing, he has been posting it online. So I want our listeners to check out Anton_Santos Photography and Anton Santos, his YouTube channel. You guys should check that out. Okay, so we've got the skills down. So you've learned skills by not necessarily just YouTube, as a lot of
Yeah.
teenagers have been trying to do, but you've also been learning through practice, through application. And you've probably gone somewhere like Magic. You've been able to get out. So how can I put myself out there? How can I get myself up for those opportunities? Of just,
You just gotta do it.
you gotta do it.
Yeah. Like you just gotta do it. Like if you got an idea in your mind right now, you just gotta do it. Like if you want to do something, you just gotta do it. Like that line, my dad told me that line every single day. When I asked for recommendations, he just said, "You just gotta do it and see what's gonna happen." Like you gotta do it and then see what will happen in the future.
Okay, really good mindset. You've applied this mindset through going around the hallways in our school and just going up to people and showing them magic tricks. Did you have any anxieties when you did that?
The first time, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I was like very scared because what's gonna happen? Will I mess up? Will they like me and stuff like that? Like I always think that they will caught me on doing, like making a mistake on doing one simple trick, and then they might be bullying me or something, or maybe when I show someone another trick, he's gonna spoil it. So when I do it, I told myself to not make any mistakes. Make sure to not show his like I always in my mind I always have a key that I should never reveal them the trick or never show them the gimmick on the trick. And yeah, like I sometimes have anxiety and getting like my heart is pounding very fast when I go up next to them. And then yeah, but the only thing I always keep in my mind is those things what my parents and my mentor said to me about doing this type of tricks. And I'm very confident enough that I can do more.
Can you tell me anything about going to shows or going to functions and just performing for people? Have you done that?
Yeah, I've done that once.
Uh-huh.
Twice pala.
What was it? What event did you perform in?
My a bazaar
Wow, that's
in
solid.
Quezon City.
Uh,
My dad's birthday, 50th birthday. Like there's a big, like all his friends are there, so I show them tricks. And also, what's that one? Okay, let's see if I can remember. I would not say event, but I would say this for me it's an event.
uh-huh.
Malls.
Malls.
Yeah, like
You've gone to people in malls.
yeah, like those YouTube videos like street performers does magic in malls. Like sometimes that's like my kind of event and stuff.
Dude, that's solid. Dude, you as in you went up to strangers and said, "Hey, you wanna see a magic trick?" Were those your exact
Yeah, like-
words?
Not only strangers but also those what do you call those people when you're in the shop?
Sales reps.
Yeah, sometimes I show them magic trick. Like sometimes sometimes people want to see me magic trick because I always fidget my cards all around when I walk. Like let's see if I like sometimes when I do this, that guy right there went up to me and said, "Oh shit, can you do that?" He's like, "Oh sorry, I'm so sorry." Like he
Yeah,
said,
no
"Hey, can you do
problem.
that again?" Like, "Can you do that again?" And I said, "Oh sure." And I said, "Oi, are you a magician?" And I said, "Yeah." And then that's the time I start doing my tricks. There's like this one store that he just gave me a discount just by showing him a magic trick.
What
Like-
store was what was it selling? Was it computer parts or hardware?
They're selling how do I say this, clothes, like
Clothes?
hype clothes and stuff. Yeah, hype clothes.
Okay.
Yeah, like my favorite audience is those hype stores like Nike, what you call that store in Greenbelt?
Commonwealth. There's Commonwealth.
Yeah,
There's
Yeah,
Popcorn
Commonwealth.
General.
yeah, popcorn. Like sometimes I get connections with them. Like
Connections.
sometimes, yeah, like I showed him a trick and he's like, "Yo, bro, when you come back here again, I'm gonna give you a discount and stuff." And then I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's the first." Whoa.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. Are they actually that lenient? That's outstanding.
Like I feel so happy for myself for showing them the trick. Like just remember this. Like every time when I show someone a trick, I give them a good memory. Like
Yes,
sometimes magician gives everyone a good memory when they show a magic trick. And
Yes.
yeah.
So for many, it's leaving a legacy. In your own words, it's leaving a good memory.
Yeah.
So on that note, I would like to end the podcast. Thank you so much for
Anytime.
coming on. To summarize, you can do anything you want in your youth. Just make sure that you invest enough time for you to learn the foundations of it. And then if you're serious about it, that's when you start to get yourself out there and invest so much time that you even lose out on sleep. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And
Anytime.
you're welcome back here anytime. Thank you.